Okay, so if you're a founder, your life is basically a series of deadlines, right? You've got product sprints, investor pitches, hiring rounds, it's nonstop. But what if I told you there's one deadline, a really quiet one, that just sits there ticking away for over 2 years? And if you miss it, well, it can totally dismantle your global ambitions before you even get off the ground.
So, what is this silent killer of a deadline? I can tell you what it's not. It's not about shipping your next feature or closing that big funding round. Nope. It's just a procedural date, something that feels super distant, maybe even trivial, right up until the moment it becomes an absolute catastrophe. And look, for any founder who has a patent, getting this wrong isn't just a mistake. It can be fatal to your business.
The answer is 30 months. That's it. 30 months. From the moment you file that very first patent application, you have exactly 2.5 years. And then you hit this massive fork in the road, and the path you choose, or are forced to choose, determines where in the world you can actually protect your invention.
And let's be real clear about something. This is not just about filling out some paperwork. This deadline, this is the moment your big, abstract, global patent strategy has to get real, like concrete, and more importantly, funded. It's a huge business decision that's cleverly disguised as just another legal formality.
So, the fancy legal term for this is national phase entry. Here's a way to think about it. Your first global patent application, that's your PCT, it's kind of like a master key. It keeps all the doors to every country open for you. But when that 30-month clock runs out, you have to decide. You have to pick which doors you're going to permanently unlock by filing separate individual applications in each of those countries.
And this is where the stakes get incredibly real. See, picking which countries to file in, that's not a legal task for your lawyer to just handle. It's a strategic one for you, the founder. You are literally drawing the map of your future empire. You're deciding which territories you're going to plant your flag in and defend. And trust me, once you make those choices, they are ridiculously hard to undo.
Okay, so why is this 30-month window such a massive headache? It's pretty simple, actually. Because while that clock is quietly ticking down in the background, your startup is loudly, messily, and rapidly evolving in the foreground. The stakes just keep getting higher with every single feature you ship and every new customer you bring on board.
You know, the timing here is absolutely crucial. This deadline has this nasty habit of showing up right when your product is finally hitting its stride, gaining real traction. Think about it. The features your customers are raving about today, they probably didn't even exist as an idea when you first filed that patent. Planning ahead means you can align your patent protection with the product you actually built, not just the dream you had on a whiteboard 2 years ago.
All right, let's talk about the big one, money. Because yeah, these national phase filings, they are expensive. This is where the real costs of patenting kick in, big time. And if you procrastinate and wait until the last minute, you're looking at emergency filings that can just torch your runway. So what's the smart move? You line this deadline up with your next funding milestone. It's a signal to investors that you're on top of your game, and it stops you from making critical IP decisions based on how much cash you happen to have in the bank.
Think of your patent as your competitive shield, right? It protects your core idea. But here's the catch. That shield is full of holes. There's a hole for every single country where you don't file. So let's say a big, well-funded competitor sees you getting some buzz, but they notice you, missed the deadline to file in Europe. What do you think happens next? You guessed it. They're going to walk right through that wide-open door. This deadline is the moment you decide where to build your walls.
And believe me, investors see everything. When you hit your patent deadlines cleanly, it sends a powerful signal. It says you're disciplined, you're organized, and you're serious about protecting their money. Now, imagine having to tell them you're hoping for an extension in a key market. Yeah, that immediately raises red flags about how you run your company and if you're even ready to scale. A sharp, well-executed IP plan is a huge part of your valuation story.
Okay, I can hear some of you thinking it right now. But wait, what about extensions? Can I just get an extension? It's a super tempting thought, I get it, but it is also one of the most dangerous myths floating around the startup world. It's this false sense of security that can, and often does, lead to total disaster.
So many founders see extensions as this nice little buffer, for when things inevitably get chaotic. But the thing is, that's not what they're for, not at all. They exist for truly extraordinary situations. We're talking about things like a government office messing up or a natural disaster, not oops, I missed an email or our budget approval was delayed. Relying on them is a pure gamble.
And to make it even worse, the rules are wildly inconsistent from country to country. I mean, some places might give you a short grace period if you pay a hefty fee. But in other places, if you miss that deadline by a single day, your patent rights are just gone forever. Poof! You just can't build a serious global strategy on that level of pure uncertainty.
So, how do you avoid this nightmare scenario? Well, you have to shift your thinking. You move from that last-minute reactive scramble to a position of real strategic control. It's all about adopting a simple but really powerful mindset that puts you, the founder, back in the driver's seat. Okay, here's your action plan. It's 4 simple steps. Number 1, treat 30 months as the real deadline. The only deadline, period, no exceptions. That just wipes out all the uncertainty. Number 2, line up your IP budget with your fundraising. That way, you're never making these huge decisions out of financial desperation. 3, be intentional. Don't just file everywhere. File where it actually moves your business forward, where your customers are, where you manufacture, where you want to grow. And finally, number 4, start this whole process at least 6 months before the deadline. 6 months. Give yourself the gift of time so you can think strategically instead of just reacting to a crisis.
And when you actually do it this way, the benefits are just massive. You save a ton of money by not filing in places you don't need to. You make your patent position way stronger because you're focusing your resources where they really count. And you end up with an IP portfolio that's sharp and lean, not bloated and ridiculously expensive to maintain.
See, this is what strategic control really looks like. Your focus, which is your single most valuable asset as a founder, isn't being wasted on panick's last-minute scrambles. Instead, it's spent on the things that actually build the business: your product, your growth, your fundraising. Proactive IP planning just becomes a small, normal, manageable part of your strategy, instead of a 5-alarm fire that pops up every couple of years.
So that brings us to the final question, and it's a simple one you need to ask yourself. What is your patent strategy really built on? Is it a solid foundation of smart, proactive, intentional decisions? Or is it just a hope, a prayer that maybe, just maybe, an extension will be there to bail you out? The choice you make here will literally define the future of your company.